Welcome to eHealth Learning, inspiring professionals worldwide.
Dr. Galloway, I had a question on what you said about how the bottom half of the body doesn't, what was the word you used? Differentiate as much as the upper half? Am I right? Is that the right word?
Do you want to come up here and answer, Neil, or take the mic? Or?
That's a little bit like when we're presenters or when we're teachers. You'll say to the students, send up reinforcements, we're going to advance. And it goes around the college and it comes back and it says, I don't know if you heard what John Sharkey said, he said, send up 3 and 4 pence, we're going to a dance.
There's no question that the way that we used to think that the embryology worked was driven by 3 layers, the ectoderm, the mesoderm, and the endoderm. And the reality is that there's a 4th layer that is called the neural crest that develops immediately adjacent to the spinal cord. And almost all of the significant structures in the head and neck are developed from cells that are stem cells that arise in this neural crest. And these cells migrate in the body. They form the channels that are the nervous connections. They're also related to the vascular channels. And what happens in the lower part of the body is that we are made primarily by the neural crest. And in the process of embryogenesis, nature makes you and me as an embryo the same way that your grandmother makes cookies. She puts out much more than she needs, and then she trims off what she doesn't want. So if you look at the early embryo, we have a tail as an embryo, and that gets trimmed when you're about 6 millimeters long. And it's trimmed by chemical signaling. So this is not like a line on an architect's blueprint. This is like the tide on the beach, where cell death extends up the embryo, a little bit like the teacher's duster, and just wipes away what shouldn't be there. And if that process overshoots just a little bit, which is one of the ways in which folic acid interacts with the mechanism, you can find that instead of coming into this world with all of your structures, you come into this world with many less. And I think these initial conditions are what set the landscape for so many things that have to do with your health and development in terms of the pelvic floor. There's lots of evidence for that. So life is not fair, the world is not flat, and that's why some girls can have 6 big babies and never have a moment's change in their life, and someone else can have 1 child and it changes their pelvic floor forever. Thought for the day.
I guess I was also just thinking about, because you said, like, you showed the back that her hips and butt were quite different.
Yes.
But I do look at people from the front, and I always see big differences on one side versus the other, whether it's face, head, neck, shoulders, arms. So I do see that, and I do see them, of course, reflected all the way down. So, like, I have my nephew has scoliosis, and his face is really off. Yep. I never tell him that, but it matches his scoliosis.
You're absolutely right. And these differences in scoliosis, for example, are easiest seen in shoulders, because one shoulder is a little bit higher, the tip of the shoulder is closer to the ear on one side than it is on the other. But basically, as you look at asymmetry in clinical settings like scoliosis, as you go further down the body, the measurable difference between one side and the other becomes greater and greater as you come further and further down the body.
Thank you.